the new season. What's going on? So we took a little bit of inspiration from how we tackle FF14 content. We jumped into the raid blind.
Yep.
I didn't research a single mechanic for a single boss.
Mm-hmm.
Neither did Matt, our raid leader.
Yep.
And I think Pop did actually know the first 6 bosses.
Yeah, Pop knew them all, yeah.
But I think that was mostly just so Pop and Tuft could actually tank.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, basically our whole guild went in completely blank. And I think we also needed, was it 2 pugs? Was it 3 pugs?
3. We had Warrior, Hunter, and the Monk.
Yeah, so thank you to them for coming, of course. Yeah, so basically we did not research any of the bosses on purpose. We went in completely blind. That was our raid experience. So, I'll say I had fun. I think the first boss is completely saved by the sound effects designers, but other than that, wasn't really that fun.
It's free loot boss. Like
it's a free loot boss.
It's a loot pinata, which is fine, but
I like my loot pinatas to be like Rathian. I thought Rathian was like, but I think it's because Rathian had like a bit of a dance to him.
Yeah.
And a kind of unique, very positional mechanic with how his flames spread. I thought that was kind of satisfying.
Yep, that was fun.
Yeah, so like first boss, a bit weak, but hey, the sound effects were cool. Second box, Skull-X. Decent, solid enough for a big worm. Yeah.
Devourer hint stuff, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, again, it's like, yeah.
Zymox, you know what? We didn't kill him because we honestly faffed about for like, it was a pretty short raid night.
Oh, yeah, because
pugs and everything.
Yeah, I went home late. We had, had to find pugs, and we just generally took our time because we're like, yeah, no. Again, this is the problem of raiding on reset days. Like, people are just sort of straggling, doing other things. I definitely had all my gear enchanted before teleporting to the raid and having to go out and get someone back in.
Very cool.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, Zymox, great.
It's very, very cool to have a fight that's, hey, here's the mechanics but we're doing them in a different way that engages the environment more and has different stuff to it. I think that was actually really cool. Really cool. I definitely haven't done my research. I may have issues with the timing of stuff in that fight that just feels generally inconsistent and unfair. But that might just be me being an idiot. And also, use the Inky Black Potion in that fight, or turn your contrast and turn your gamma down, I think helps. Basically, you want to darken the environment so you have
Man, that was a really a discussion topic that appeared, for loads of our team.
Yeah. Which
was, and I know that it just seems a bit cheap and mean whenever we bring up FF14 all the time. I do understand that. I don't do it lightly, but so many of us have been playing FF14, and I think we're generally used to in FF14. It's like very clear where our mechanic is.
Yep.
Very clear. And the one time where there's 2 times it made me really quite angry. In the first boss, it's way larger than you would think. The little things that just get spread around the room that spawn under your feet. They're just larger than you'd think. So there's that. And then the next one, this is the one that, I just thought like, okay, someone needs to be taken to court for high crimes against video games. The cone.
Massive blast from the Zyakalites.
So there's the black swirly inky stuff, which by the way, like the visual effects are all awesome.
Very nice.
It all looks great. But there's a bit with at the side, the 2 sides, where it's like a white line. And it's a high contrast white line. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
On an almost white ground, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I'm like, all right, I'm on the other side of the white line. I'm not going to get hit.
Yep.
Then I die. And I'm like, and right as I'm going, oh my fucking God, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I hear over Discord is Matt being like, fuck, I thought I was out of it too, but you got killed.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
And it's just one of those things where I really, really wish, Wildstar did this really good. Wildstar, woo! Wildstar did it really good. FF14 does it really good. And it just means, I was going to say, you know where you stand. I suppose that's also quite literal. And I just think that's good for the readability.
Yeah, that's the thing where ultimately FF14's is a lot of the time very much not diegetic. It's very much this is the game UI represented in 3D space because it's a big orange thing. That's game, not in world stuff. World of Warcraft has almost always taken the opposite approach of this looks like it's just happening in the world. But those are two different approaches. But FF14's is pixel perfect. World of Warcraft has never in the history of time ever been pixel perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You can do that, and all you have to do is, like, the white line was a perfect idea. It just needs to be very clear. It needs to be somewhere that you can look at your character and go, I know I'm on the side of the white line. It's the same with World of Warcraft, where, you know, your hitbox is tiny. You can pixel dodge stuff. You can't do that in WoW because you don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
Because even outlines they have are not pixel outlines. They are, here's a diegetic enough outline that's like this wide, but you don't know, is the line fine? Is outside the line fine? And you can always just go, yeah, don't be stupid. Just, just be in the right place. But it's like, you know, if you want to be really hyper accurate with the positioning and it doesn't happen, then if you get hit, that's just a bad experience.
Good, people are talking about P3, orange on orange. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Man, P3. Yeah. My P3 was like a 12 or 13 minute kill. There's so many downs in the group. But it's fine. I've been top of the
I mean, actually, happy, but P3 being orange on orange, that's what Zymox is. It's just, here's a slightly different color of gray on top of a gray floor. That's what it looks like. It's obviously like sand colored and stuff, but it's all just like, imagine every fight's P3. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, man. That said, I wonder if there's an argument to have less raid bosses in WoW tiers.
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking about how good... By the way, are we allowed to say the name of a trial yet? Or do we still say T2?
I'll just go for the number just to make sure.
Yeah, okay. So T2 Extreme is the... Because I know the T1 Extreme is like the one I should have done first, but the only one I did was T2 Extreme.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
And holy fuck, that's one of the... That is some of the most like gripped and engaged I've been playing an MMO in such a long time. It's incredible. And it did just make me think, 10 bosses. Did the first one need to be there? Did Skolex really need to be there?
Lupiniata, Devourer.
I suppose I just was like wondering, what would it be like if WoW decided to ship fewer raid bosses, but redeploy those assets elsewhere to have a more balanced experience. But, you know, put that discussion to the side for now, because I guess it's not really super relevant to this. So overall, like I said, my impression of the raid was like, it was fun. I jumped in, I had a raid night, it was fun. You know, I enjoyed that. First boss a bit weak, the other two I'm perfectly happy with. Playing Frostmage for the first time in the property in a raiding context. Very different to Hunter. You could say it's a bit simple and boring, but its movement, I think, is very enjoyable. And, you know, kind of doing those more squeaky shimmers, I really enjoyed. Obviously, being able to shimmer through the thing in Zymox, it feels really powerful. But that's fun. Felt like a little bit of class flavor. You know, all you suckers haven't used the teleporter, and us mages just zooping about. I thought that was cool.
I mean, I had the same experience with Soulship, because I'm playing Nightfave for the first time. Like, oh, sweet, nice.
So people are saying Halandrius is really cool.
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, that's after Zymox?
Yep, believe so.
Oh, great. All right, sweet. We're nearly there. So look, I enjoyed it because just another slice of WoW rating. I'll certainly say, like, if I was this week doing 9 or 8 or however many Mythic Pluses it is to get the 3 things and, you know, doing it all like that, then I probably would enjoy it less. But as it stands, I just, you know, just chill, do what I want. I don't think about the reward systems anymore. Yeah,
that's the same thing I've been doing. I've been just like, I don't care about the rewards. I will go do Mist Time Walking, even though I know that's a chore, because 252 gear is just going to be probably worth it. Yeah. I will do that reluctantly because Mist Time Walking's fine, but I don't want to be coerced into doing anything by a reward system. I want to do something because it's fun and then get a reward because it's there as well. But
it would be cooler if we lived in a world where, you know, the Valor cap was maybe a bit different and Valor was a way more useful currency to a raider, so that if you were doing your raiding, you know, and you did lots of raiding, you'd get all your Valor, but maybe, you know, doing the time walking thing would get you some Valor as well, enough to make it worth your while. And that way it would be more optional. And that's just me thinking about how FF14 does its dusting of your astrology and aphorism tombstones in the more side content, such that, you know, you can do some treasure hunts, you can do some hunt trains, and not feel like you're being stupid because you're not doing the expert roulette. So that's maybe food for thought. Now, what is interesting too is difficulty.
That's been fun.
It seems this has been ratcheted up a bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
I've not been paying much attention. I've almost made a point of not paying attention in the sort of big, zoomy zoom competitive land. But only 3 guilds in the world have killed heroic Anduin.
Yep.
And it's a very tight fight.
Which I think is interesting, for sure. Because there's so much expectation for people to nuke normal and then nuke heroic and then be done. Because of how loot kind of comes out. You're like, well, if you don't kill this boss, you don't get your loot. Or, like, that's another argument against the Great Vault. It's like week 1, you want to not get scuffed in your first Great Vault, go kill all 8 bosses. You're like, well, I can't do that. Because I've got, 2 raid nights and we're not that good. Alright, sweet. But that's kind of an aside. But I do think it's interesting that is tuned so... it's awkward. Because all of the nerfs make me think that maybe they overtuned by accident. Because they're thinking about double legendaries and tier sets. And maybe they haven't tuned down to account for without them. But if it's intended, then I think it's a really interesting design change. And I think I like it. I like the direction of it anyway.
Interesting. I mean, like Skolex Zymox, it's 15% HP nerf for the Acolytes.
Yeah.
Just, bam, there we go.
That's
reduce the pacing of the encounter by 15% normal and heroic. Like, quite a lot of changes, Anduin having more nerfs as well. So that's the March 3rd ones. March the 2nd, Anduin nerfs. Just interesting.